You want to go?
Yeah. So we're Amber Glass
You want to start
collectively.
Start again. So we don't have to.
So hello and welcome to the Amber Glass podcast.
The debut.
I don't want to welcome anybody though.
No?
No.
Well, this is literally
Welcome
the
to
first podcast.
But-
But we can do it later. Say, and welcome back, or whatever the fuck shit.
But yeah,
But it's like this is the Amber Glass podcast.
We're
I'm
on
Max.
time now. So
The man to the left of me is Andrew. He's a wanker. Like you go round the table.
Yeah.
that's all we need. Andrew is a wanker. Introduction done. Right. Yeah. No. So yeah, we're Amber Glass, and we do podcast stuff on games. Every one of us has some kind of insight that we hope you find at least a little interesting. If not, bye. I'm Dave.
I'm Neil.
I'm Max.
And I'm Andrew.
Yeah. So other than that, I don't think that there's much to say.
Best
Well,
introduction ever.
Shit, is it? Yeah. This is quite possibly the worst introduction ever. But I'm okay with that.
Basically, what we're trying to do is to give a platform for the local gaming community, give them a place to advertise.
Local to us.
Local to us.
That's again
within sort of
within Dundee.
within Scotland.
Scotland. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll say Scotland.
Yeah.
And basically, it gives local startup companies a platform to sort of voice who's developing what, and basically just to preserve the interest in gaming, which is our tagline.
Sneaky
Yeah,
adding that in.
Yeah, leave it.
Yeah.
So
Like hearing the title of a film at the film. It's like, whoa!
Film place.
Yeah. Whoa.
Oh my god.
This
Okay.
mission is impossible. Oh. Yeah, right, anyway. So yeah, that's about it. Introduction. pretty much
Podcast
done.
over.
Podcast done. We're done.
So okay.
This still
Thanks for
stands.
listening.
It still stands as the shittest introduction ever made.
So we've got new games coming out this week, obviously, because it's
Yes. Yeah, we have lots of games coming out in this, like, every week. There's games coming out, Andrew.
yeah. Well,
We'll make sure to cover that.
well,
we'll
what
make
are the
sure to
games
cover
then,
that.
David?
What are the games, David? Oh, I wonder what they are. Yeah, Nino Kuni. I fucking love Studio Ghibli. Particularly Hayao Miyazaki. I think that I would marry that man. No, yeah, I'd marry that man. I think that
second to Gabe Newell. You'd marry Gabe Newell before you.
Just for his body though.
just for his body. Yeah. But I get him to draw me pictures like all day.
One of his
Just-
French girls.
Yeah. So, but yeah, Nino Kuni, Wrath of the White Witch is its new game, the first game directly done by Studio Ghibli as well.
Have they actually made it, or they just?
No,
just
level 5, I think. I think, yeah. The ones that made
Step-
White Knight Chronicles.
Yeah,
So-
Dragon Quest.
Yeah, and oh my god, they were good games. But yeah, so I actually played Nino Kuni at Eurogamer earlier in last year. I just realised it's 2013. I'm a little behind. But yeah, I was so excited about hearing about it. Then I played it, and it's so good. It's the first traditional kind of JRPG I've seen in a while that's really gripped me. It's quite difficult to actually do that nowadays. I've found it's like a lot of them, they just bash out just the same story, same gameplay over and over again, and the combat system is very, very interesting as well. Using kind of, I'd compare it to Final Fantasy 12, which may be a shocker for everybody. I loved that combat system. I thought that it was really interesting, and they used the same style of thing in White Knight Chronicles. So it's like kind of those two things combined. But yeah,
and that was obviously part of the games that were well received.
yeah.
As someone who's
surely
never
this is-
played any Final Fantasy games, what sort of gameplay is it?
Yeah, okay, so it's not
Kill me, just
not
now.
quite
face is turning red right
It's
now.
not your usual turn-based anyway. It's not turn-based. It's like
that's
you have
the
an
one that put me
action
off.
bar essentially,
Yeah.
and when the action bar builds up, you can perform an attack or something.
So kind of like what you had in White Knight.
White Knight, yeah,
Yeah.
pretty much the same style. But yeah, the main part about the game is the narrative and like the aesthetics of it. I think that
Yeah, I've seen like the streams.
Oh,
It looks
it looks
Lovely.
beautiful. The story as well is really, really nice. Like it's all about. I'm not gonna give anything away, but basically it's like about a little boy coping with the loss of his mother, and
but hopefully in a bit of more of a.
in a cheerier way,
Cheerier way than-
tears. There's
What's it called? The Finger of the Fireflies.
Grave of the Fireflies.
That
oh,
is a depressing
Christ.
film.
But yeah, no, like it's a very happy film with a very, very sad underlying theme. Yeah, game. It's Studio Ghibli. I automatically think film, and like that's the thing. That's not a bad thing because you could look at it in the same way. You know, you wouldn't. You could take all of the gameplay out of it, and I'd still think it was amazing.
Yeah.
You could do a walkthrough, like just walking through the levels, like Dear Esther, and I think that it was brilliant. I'd probably play it until my hands bled. But yeah, so that looks fantastic. Out this week.
Date.
It's already out. It came out,
No, thank you. I don't like raisins.
came out 2 weeks ago actually.
What?
David.
No, you're supposed to say no, thank you. I like raisins. Like, not dates.
But it's
Dates.
Dave.
But it's Dave.
When was the last time Dave ate a raisin?
Yeah, exactly.
Raisins are fruit
Seriously.
and not massive pies.
Yeah. Oh, we eat pies. Come on. Pies are so.
Pizza though.
Last year, cannolis. Right. The cave.
I
The cave.
see a
Anyone?
picture.
I think
yeah.
that the picture kind of says it all about the game anyway. I've
So a
seen
picture
some
of the
gameplay.
headline of Steam.
I've
Yeah.
looked through gameplay videos and stuff of it. It seems quite traditional platformery.
It's very
Like,
traditional platform. It's like
yeah.
you go fetch a key and then come back and.
Yeah. But it's all in a kind of very dark setting.
Yeah.
There's weird things that'll kill you wherever you go. It looks like it could be very frustrating. Which I hope it works. Like Super Meat Boy kind of frustrating. I hope it was like that rather than just I don't want to play this. But I don't know. So yeah, it's on PC and Wii U. But if I was gonna get it, I'd probably get it on the Wii U, just because I think that it's a good system for that style of game.
Yes, I can see what you mean.
Especially with like a gamepad. I think that from what the game looks like, it really does look like it's meant to be played almost handheld. I would have understood if it was on 3DS or something like that. But I don't see the PC version. I don't like understand the need for a PC version. I think that the Wii U would be fine and it will work best on there. But yeah.
Does it use
Just
two
destroyed.
screens?
Yeah.
Or does it?
It's removed any people who listen to this who like PC.
Anybody who likes anybody
I've had a console
like
for
yeah,
$50.
don't get me wrong. I'm like a major PC gamer, but my Wii U, I think, the Wii U needs more games just now. It's not got enough, and I think that like the Cave could have been a Wii U exclusive, and I think that it would have been better received if it was. Because the Cave, like, it's getting a bit of hype. It's getting quite a lot of hype.
Yeah. I think a
But
lot of it was
it's
getting to do with the guy who's made it. Same guy made Monkey Island.
yeah. Like the way I think that it's kind of everybody knows about it, but just like in this room, do you know anybody that's played it? It's
No.
one of those things. I think that that's the problem. I think that if it was on Wii U, you'd know at least somebody who. If it was Wii U only, you'd be more encouraged to kind of go, oh yeah. You know, two guys that have Wii U's sitting in this room.
50% of this.
50% of the
podcast
podcast
Wii U.
is
Which
our
means
Wii U
50%
owners.
of the European Europe own Wii U.
Yeah, yeah. Well,
from that
Scotland.
whole-
Scotland.
No, Europe. We're in Europe.
We're
Technically, we're in the world, but 50% of the world
yeah.
own a Wii U. But no, like, how does it use the two screens? Like you said that it seems like it should almost be played on handheld. But like when you're playing on the main screen, is the second screen
To
even utilised?
be
or-
honest, I'm not sure. I haven't like looked into it that that much, but like I think that I don't think it needs to. It seems to be
really bad research, and it's not even on the Wii.
Oh no, it's definitely on the Wii. That would be.
No, I know it's on the Wii U.
Yeah,
well.
yeah.
Buy it on the eShop.
But like, I don't know. I don't think that the thing would be, the second screen would even be necessary. I think it might just be another clone of the screen. But yeah, no, it looks interesting at least.
Date?
No, thank you. Yeah.
The joke's never gonna get old. Months and months of that joke.
Never. I'm never gonna. Dates don't. Time doesn't influence this. Yeah.
Yeah, it does. You're getting fatter and fatter every day.
That's why time doesn't influence this. I take no knowledge of time. I measure days and waist size. Right. What else is there coming out? Skulls of the Shogun.
Yeah. I've seen one screenshot of this game.
We're so good.
Well,
I've seen the worst podcast.
I've seen skeletons with katanas.
Rushing to victory again. I have actually looked into this game because I think that it looks really, really cool. I think that it looks so cool. It's basically that. It's samurai with skull faces.
Strategy or is
it's a strategy. Okay. It's really weird. Like, it's hard to describe the. I think that the game for its aesthetics is going to be better received rather than its gameplay.
Oh, okay.
I think that the gameplay looks really, really fun, but I think it's the aesthetics, the kind of
like
humor.
Real-time strategy or turn-based? More like
if I remember correctly, it's turn-based. Right. I could be wrong. Don't quote me on that, but I'm pretty sure it's turn-based, like kind of Worms style. I think.
Yeah.
Again, could be totally wrong. If I'm totally wrong, then feel free to send me all the hate mail, all the hate mail on Facebook, just so that I feel like I have some connection to society.
No,
but
we
have Twitter too, so yeah.
That comes at the end.
Yeah.
I don't know how to tweet.
Oh god.
You only get 140 characters. I ran out of characters so fast. I tell long stories, and they're never worth it. And Twitter does not accommodate for that.
Tough. Right, next.
Yeah. Right. So yeah, well, the Skulls of the Shogun, I think that it looks really, really nice. But other than the aesthetic, I don't see the gameplay being anything particularly new, particularly different.
Yeah.
But I don't think it needs to be. I think that the humor.
Is there any games that you can compare it to, gameplay wise?
Again, Worms. But like, the thing that I'd always say is I never ever played Worms for the gameplay. I always played Worms because of the kind of humorous.
I played Worms. You can name each memory. Just see what names are different filter.
But
that's all you do.
But yeah, no, like, I played it because it was really funny looking.
Yeah.
The sounds and stuff. Everything was quite funny. I think that Skulls of the Shogun's going to be the same kind of thing. But yeah, sticking with the strategy theme, Omerta, City of Gangsters.
And the theme that no one else knows anything about.
Yeah, I know a lot about this because I think that it's
because Dave's done his work.
Because Dave's done his homework.
I know it's supposed to be like XCOM.
It's turn-based strategy gangsters. Holy crap! I didn't think I'd ever say that. It's like 1920s XCOM.
Yes.
Oh my god! It looks so good. It's like XCOM with the Godfather.
Why is it on PC then?
It is on PC.
Why is it just the Xbox here?
Because it lies here. No, it's on PC. Check Steam.
I might buy that then.
Yeah. Oh, Jesus! It looks so cool. Look, I can't express how much I want to play this game in words, and there's no video footage, so you can't see
how excited he's getting.
The change in colour of my skin, the
matching his t-shirt
shakiness. Yeah, I've gone from the pale blue Scottish colour to sort of aqua, but yeah, I feel very patriotic now.
Pale blue.
Pale blue skin.
How many Scottish references can we get in before the end of the podcast?
Yeah. Let's see. But yeah, right. So Omerta, City of Gangsters. I strongly suggest that. Yes, it's on Steam.
Okay, cool.
I don't know if it's pre-purchase or if it's purchase, but it's on Steam.
How much?
it doesn't matter. Buy it. It's
Yeah.
like usually it's kind of like, oh no, it might be really expensive, but I don't give a shit. But you buy it
things in the sales unless it's Monster Hunter.
unless it's Monster.
Or Zelda.
Yeah. But yeah,
helping the industry.
So
help the industry you're in, Max.
Yeah.
Come on. But yeah, no, like I think that Omerta's really interesting. It's so good. It's such a nice twist because every other gangster style game has either been a browser based thing, which I don't like. Those kind of click on your stats and you can be the dawn of the world. I don't like that. I think that that's boring. I'm very much I want something pretty to look at and something evil to shoot.
So pretty much you're really shallow.
Yeah, I am. I'm a really shallow man. But yeah, I think that like it's a good step away from the Grand Theft Auto style sandbox, run around and steal cars because you're a gangster kind of thing. It's not that. It's all about strategic placement and like.
Yeah, it seems since GTA, all games that are gangster basic.
GTA meets Risk.
Yeah. I like that. I like that. That's pretty good. Pretty good summary.
I can come away with some crackers once in a while.
Yeah. Cracker. I don't even think you intended the reference there, the Robbie Coltrane reference. Another Scottish reference. Oh. Right. You didn't see me raise my hands in victory there.
I'll pretend I did.
But yeah.
Hitman HD trilogy.
How many people played Hitman?
I could never properly play Hitman.
I've never completed a Hitman game.
No, yeah.
I've played like every single one of them, I think. I don't think I've missed one.
I'd go into them and spend ages setting up an intricate plan of how I'm going to do it, and then just end up walking up to them and shooting him in the face.
Yeah, you do that. You kind of like, I can be really stealthy. I'll take out this guy. And then I'll take out this
fuck
guy.
it, we'll do it live.
And he's like, no, where's my gun? So like, but Absolution was really cool. But like, I still maintain that Hitman 2 was my favourite. Hitman 2 was really
I liked
nice.
Blood Money.
Blood Money was really cool with the amusement park thing.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's the first level and it's the best in my opinion because it looked really nice.
I know Blood Money's supposed to have a really good ending as well, but I've never
Yeah,
played it, so.
if you want to spoil the ending for us, send it in and be like, hey, speak to Neil and give him your love.
Because no one else will.
Yep.
Oh, depressing.
Poor Neil.
The sympathy in your voice then was amazing.
Yeah, I'm so sympathetic towards you, Neil. It makes me cry.
Makes me cry.
Man tears. Right. Yeah. So moving swiftly on through the seas of the PlayStation Vita. Let's fish.
The oceans. Yeah. Wow.
What?
What is going on in the Vita?
It made me so happy. It's a romance fishing game.
Yes.
It's an anime-based romance fishing game. That's all I have to say. And everybody should want to play this.
To be honest,
amazing.
It's never been done before, and maybe
It
it
is
should never
new.
be done again.
I want to buy a Vita so that I can play Let's Fish Hooked On. Most people are like, I want to play Uncharted. I want to play the Call of Duty. No, I want to play Let's Fish Hooked On. Let's get me a fucking Vita. I want to traverse the little town and make friends, and because traditional anime style, it's like, I'm a socially awkward girl.
Game.
It's a sim dating.
Right, it's not
fishing.
sim dating. It's kind of like a
Okay,
romance
it's
undertone
not,
story.
I thought it meant like sim dating the fish. No.
That would be the.
I thought it was like you played as the fish.
I would have played that game more.
If anybody wants
Play the
to
fish
start up a
movies,
Kickstarter, we will get a dating sim made with fish.
Where you play the fish.
You.
And you get to date. It's essentially like Finding Nemo.
Yeah.
No. I saw it as a fisherman. And you catch fish and date them.
That is a very extreme form of
Does it work? There's
bestiality
plenty
here.
more fish in the sea.
Podcast ends.
There we go.
But yeah, so Let's Fish is you like play as a little blonde-haired girl with the traditional I'm socially awkward, so
So
I'm going
shy
to
and-
make more friends than anybody else in this series. And it's like, okay, that's cool. And then you realise that the whole objective of the game is to catch fish. So
The fact it has a subtitle, the hooked on bit, kind of hints that they might want to do more as well.
I'd really, really like a series of these.
Oh yeah, it's definitely a trilogy.
Like, it's one of these things that I can imagine would be so popular in Japan. It's like one big mini game, essentially. Is what that's what it looks like. But again, I don't have a Vita. I haven't played it, but I want to.
We'll see it
All
break record sales for the Vita.
Oh, I hope it does.
next
I
few
hope
weeks.
I hope that is the best selling game. If you have a Vita and you're listening to this podcast, go out and buy
John.
Let's Fish. Hooked on.
The only person who owns this podcast who owns Vita.
Yeah.
Okay.
And more Vita stuff is Doorkudo. Wow, platformers can still be done good. I like that.
What's
Doorkudo is your Vita platformer where you got to move stuff around in the level. You got to traverse, but that's not the important part. The part is that it has over 100 levels.
What?
Yeah, and not just like 100 empty stages.
Is
Like
it 3D or 2D?
it's 2D side scroll. So, it's like got 100 over 100 very detailed levels. I can't remember if it was like 147 they showed off in one of their trailers. 147 levels. I think that's
It's
incredible.
pretty impressive.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
Like, it just shows you that people still have faith in the side-scrolling kind of platforming market, because
Yeah.
they haven't been done for a while, and they're usually done like, I don't want to say like poorly, but like with low budgets, quite low budgets. And this
They're
didn't
pretty-
have the highest budget, but it shows that if you've got a powerful system and you want to do it, it can be done.
Yeah, it's pretty. The platform's pretty repetitive as well. I mean, so many games have been done to death in the same style, so it's interesting to see Doorkudo try and take a new approach to this.
Yeah, I like the fact that they're kind of like, oh, well, people like to play platformers. Let's make so much platforming, and they'll play it all. Like, it's kind of that build it and they will come kind of attitude.
Bit like Little Big Planet. Build your own.
Yeah.
That should
But
be in it.
I don't know if there is a build your if there's a build your own level feature in Doorkudo, then
Really should be.
I
I mean-
will buy a Vita, and like I will put off
Just play
buying.
Doorkudo and Let's
I will not pay rent, and yeah.
Oh man.
Let's Fish and Doorkudo are going to be the only games I own on the Vita, and then I'll complete them, and then I'll sell my Vita on both the games. But yeah. So I think that's all the. Oh no! Wait, no.
Yeah.
Proteus.
Proteus for PC.
Yeah.
It's kind of weird. It's not really got any gameplay other than you
Yeah,
wander around
we-
an island.
We
It's,
played it
yeah,
at
played it at
Eurogamer.
Eurogamer.
Yeah.
It's like
Dear Esther.
yeah.
In that there's no interaction really.
It's basically just walk around and
Yeah.
enjoy the music and the environment. It's like
Yeah.
and it's like Minecraft. Every time you play it, it loads a new
Yeah.
environment. So
I think
it's pretty
that
much different every time you play.
like I think that there's definitely kind of a wave nowadays of this like.
It's kind of like Flower as well. It's like
Yeah,
immersive.
there's like a kind of wave of these artistic games, like just they're realizing now that making games is an art form. It's like no different than directing a movie, you know?
Yeah.
Just so they're finding and experimenting with ways of doing that, and like I think that it's a it's a good example of how you can express yourself in a game, like without having to outwardly say it.
Yeah,
That-
there's no dialogue. There's no
no,
there's nothing.
there's
other
no
than just
narrative
walking
to the
around,
game.
yeah.
Like no obvious narrative. There's
Basically control
probably a bit
camera
of
and walk
yeah.
around an island.
So, but yeah, no, it does look really
Yeah.
interesting.
It just came out yesterday on Steam.
I think that that's another one of if you can get a hold of it, then
That should.
have
I
a
think
shot,
it's selling
yeah.
for like £3 or £4.
yeah, I don't see it being
So
too
it's,
expensive, but it's worth it if, like, especially if you're wanting to get into the industry. I think that looking at these things is definitely important.
Yeah.
And if you don't want to fork out the money, then just have a look at videos on YouTube and you'll kind of get the gist of it. But I think it's very, very much one of those, you have to play it to really understand.
I do think it is a game as well where you'll either love it or hate it.
Yeah, yeah.
You'll either really enjoy it or
Just
bored.
kind of like anything that game company makes.
Yeah.
Like, you will either really, really love it or you just won't see the point.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I think, unless anybody has anything else, I think that's actually all the new releases that I've seen.
There's probably some like massive we missed.
Yeah, there's probably there will be like a massive list. Somebody, somebody's just gonna be like, oh, you didn't talk about my Flash game that I made for the internet last week. Oh, why are you not including me?
Well, that gives you an incentive.
Why is this like Persona incredibly drunk?
Well, that gives you an incentive if we have.
Because you have to be drunk to try and make that kind of point. Try and argue that.
If we have missed anything out, then get in touch next week. And
definitely.
Let us know.
Definitely. And if you are drunk and have made a Flash game this week that you would like us to talk about, I will put my hand on my heart, apologise, and talk about it next week. Yeah.
Okay, so last week the Scottish Game Jam took place. Last weekend today it started, and I was lucky enough to volunteer at the Dundee event, and from what I saw, it was pretty fantastic what people were making in 48 hours. It was a great event. For those that haven't sort of kept up with it, for you and for other people, basically the theme of the game jam was to create a game around a sound clip of a heartbeat, and there was various sort of different parts of a game that you could implement. Like, it could be based on a board game from the past but not be a rip-off. Or it could have audience interaction, that sort of thing.
It could be some kind of simulator or something.
Yeah.
A surgery simulator.
It would essentially be a surgery.
Was wondering how long it would take for that to come up.
Yeah, just to throw that out there, everybody has to play Surgery Simulator.
It's free as long as you have like the Unity web loader thing, which
Yeah.
everyone should have.
Yeah.
And you have to play it. It takes forever to load up, and then you play it, and you only have one hand.
Yeah.
What kind of surgeon only has a hand? One hand.
Control each.
The best kind of surgeon.
So there was a couple of good takes on the heartbeat and different ways to use them. One team, for example, used the heartbeat as the beat for a rap, and basically it was a 2-player rapping game, and it gave you the first line of the rap, and you had to complete the second line with something that rhymed, obviously.
Selection of choices.
Did you play it?
Oh shit!
Did you rap? Did you get down with it?
I may have. I'm not going to explicitly say the rap.
Recorded.
Andrew was busting rhymes out there at the Scottish Game Jam.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you were telling me about one that was like Hungry Hippos.
Oh yeah.
Kind of thing.
Yeah.
I think that was really cool.
There was basically the board was a heart, and you had 4 of your main arteries linking to the heart, and 2 of them fed in red and blue balls sort of simultaneously, and the other 2 were guarded by paddles that you had to control. And
you had to get the red, blue.
They were coloured.
Cool.
You had to get the red balls into the red paddle and the blue balls into the blue paddle, as your health bar was going down.
That's amazing.
It is so frustrating. It is extremely difficult. There was another one. Probably my favourite from the game jam was essentially called Heartbeat, and it was a 2D platformer. You had like a sprite artwork sort of thing, and basically you didn't see the full stage. You were only sort of given a light around you, like an aura sort of thing, and every time the heartbeat played in the background, the platform changed. So you get like blocks or part of the environment that would disappear and then reappear in the next heartbeat and then disappear again. And it was basically 2 levels of a platform game in the one level. It was really, you had to sort of strategize your movements. That was really, really addictive.
Yeah.
I wish if I've got the link to it, I'll put it on the
Facebook
page.
page.
The Twitter page.
Yeah.
It is a must play. It was made by one guy as well.
Yeah, we'll also put Surgery Simulator on the Facebook page.
Yeah, absolutely.
That is a must play as well. You can hammer a man in the face whilst he's unconscious, like because you're supposed to be operating on him.
I'm not meaning to. I'm not meaning to sound grotesque or violent, but yesterday me and Neil played it, and in about 40 seconds I managed to break a guy's ribs and then puncture his lungs with a syringe.
And also throw the replacement heart.
I threw the replacement heart, the heart transplant away, because you don't need the replacement for a heart transplant. You just take the old one out and just leave them.
Yeah,
but
no, yeah.
So that's how the real surgeons do it.
It's super realistic though. Like until this year, we didn't even know that you had 2 lungs and a heart in your chest cavity. I mean, you have 3 organs in there.
I know.
How is there space for anything else?
I know.
Like, oh my god! Like, I mean, that.
And I didn't realize that you could not have lungs or a rib cage
and survive
as long as you had
and
like
more
a replacement,
like a liter of blood,
and that you only have to sit the heart. And during a heart transplant, you have to sort it out. Yeah, no, it reattaches itself.
Although saying that, if you do leave a scalpel inside the chest cavity and put the heart on top, it does not take. You need to take the scalpel out.
Because that would be ridiculous.
Of course.
Yeah.
Like, because then it's essentially trying to pump blood through the scalpel and not the heart.
Yeah.
That's not gonna work.
But yeah,
sticking with the theme of the Scottish Game Jam, local Dundee-based company Gorilla Tea have been influenced to create a 1 game a month sort of thing until next February, I think.
So a year.
12 games.
12 games.
It should be about 12 games, yeah. If not, it'll be by the end of...
If not, they're liars. If not, they're phonies.
Are they going to create it off of like an engine they've made and it's going to be like kind of reskinned?
I think that's really up to them.
Or is it going to be completely new games every month?
I think it's a completely new game every month. I don't think they'll rehash the things that they've already made, because I think it would be
I'm not
the 1 game a month
in the
theme.
way you can use engines, you can change a lot. But what I'm saying is, like, have they maybe designed an engine and they're saying we can do tons of stuff with it? We're going to make like an RTS 1 month, a first-person shooter the next month.
I don't know. I think it might be just showing off their skills as designers.
Yeah.
And again, I really, really like this idea, because sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, but it depends if you're doing it for the right reasons. Like Ubisoft have done we're going to produce 1 game a year, an Assassin's Creed game a year, and they did it, and they said they'd do that for like 8 years. I think that's stupid, because that was a financial thing. I think that they've locked themselves in. But with this 1 game a month, I think that they're open to create something that's just an expression of that month.
It also means that, like, say 4 people around this table, we have different, like, ideas of what a good game is, and if they release 12 games, then
you're bound to have one.
One game will please at least one of one game will be the perfect game for one of us. Kind of thing. Like, they'll try and please everyone essentially in a year.
I think that
whereas
it's also
Assassin's Creed only pleases the Assassin's Creed community, and they release that every year. They're releasing 12 games in a year, and it'll please everyone.
Yeah. I think that it's also a good way of kind of testing their boundaries to see exactly what it is that they do well and people respond to well, because, like, I know certainly from like personal experience, when you design something and you think that it's really, really great, and you're like, oh, this, how could you not like this kind of idea? And you get really wrapped up in it. And then you realize that the tiniest little thing that, like, you didn't focus on too much is the thing that people respond to most, and the thing that you've done best, and you can repeat that because it just seems so mundane to you, but it seems interesting and new to somebody else. And I think that making an abundance of games really helps to test the water with that. And
I think it also means that since, like, say if you only have a month to make a game, you're probably going to focus more on the gameplay and the art style than like necessarily like what the narrative is and stuff. So I think we'll get maybe not the best stories in games, but definitely like it's going to be high quality gameplay, high quality.
I think that sometimes that can reverse as well, though. So because I think that it's definitely plausible for them to, and I'd like to see it as a game just solely narrative, just like essentially
like
a book. No, but okay, but no, more like a kind of D-Rester style thing. But I think that it's more of a, they won't have to focus so much on, I want the highest refined graphics in the world. They won't have to focus on the things which, personally, I don't feel are that important. Yeah. With games, like, you were saying that Thomas Was Alone was like one of your favourite games.
Probably my favourite game. Yeah,
like,
I really like that game.
I agree with you in that the gameplay was enough. You didn't need artwork to kind of balance it out.
Yeah.
Although, while it is just shapes, it still looks nice. You know?
Yeah, no,
There's still
the
a kind of
artwork-
pleasing
the artwork
aesthetic
is
for it.
programmer art, but it's done well. Like the lighting in it and stuff is beautiful, and the way the actual
Yeah.
game works is beautiful. But even then, like, I mean, it's not like they just didn't focus on art or narrative and just went straight for the gameplay. I mean, there's
Yeah.
a really strong narrative in the game as well.
Yeah.
That is like, you know, I mean, I don't think I've ever cared so much about a character that has no facial features. Or
Yeah.
anything. Like even like the 8-bit Mario, where like you could barely, like all you knew is that he had a mustache and a hat. Like I cared more about Thomas, who's like this tiny little rectangle.
Yeah, I was about to say,
with absolutely
for anybody who's not played
Yeah.
it, the whole thing is just shapes.
Yeah, no, it's all. There are triangles in there, but there's not a single circle. It's all straight edges. It's triangles
Yeah.
and squares. The whole thing.
Yeah.
The ground is black squares.
Yeah.
The players are different coloured squares.
Yeah.
And you essentially just run around and you
Yeah.
jump, and it's a platform, and it's amazing.
Yeah. There's a whole number of reasons why edges and stuff are much easier to do, but I think that
Yeah.
unless you,
No,
if that interests you, then look into programming. We don't know the exacts about it, but it is easier to do that. And I think that like that became a trend, and like amongst programmers, Thomas is Alone is really well received.
Yeah. Well, no,
Like
well,
so.
I don't know. I really enjoyed it. I mean, I want to be a programmer, but I wouldn't call myself a programmer. Like not now.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, no.
But like if you have an
I
interest
just-
in programming and you prefer like the kind of the gameplay style to any kind of art style in a game. If
Well,
you
I don't
play
really-
games for how they play instead of how they look,
Yeah.
then definitely have a
I
look
don't play
at
games
Thomas
for how
Was
they
Alone.
look, and I don't play games for a story.
But like I think that in the same sense of Gorilla Tea, I think that they can do something very interesting
Yeah.
with this
Yeah.
one,
No,
one
I'm
game a month.
definitely like. Do you? How big's the team? How big is the team?
I think
Do you
they're
know?
one of the biggest teams in Dundee,
In Dundee,
at least,
right,
yeah.
okay. So it is a pretty big team. So
Yeah.
they'll
Yeah,
have,
yeah.
They'll have fairly significant.
And they're pretty
Established.
well established around the community as
Yeah,
well.
definitely.
So, everyone will
Are they
be
going
keeping an eye.
to be? Do you know anything about platform that will be released on, or are they just going to switch up the platform?
I think
it
of
might-
the game?
I
Could-
think
could
it'll
vary,
yeah,
yeah.
it'll
differ.
I don't
you
think-
won't know until
Yeah,
the end of the
Yeah,
month.
from what I've heard about it, it does very much seem we're going to make one game a month, and that's the
That's all
entire
they-
criteria
I
of
do
the
know
thing.
about the first game.
Yeah.
Is do you remember? I don't know if you played it in school, but when you got grid paper, you used to try and connect like a square and put your initial in it.
Yeah, yeah.
That sort of thing.
Yeah.
I forget what
It's
the
like
actual
called game.
game's
I
called.
don't
Yeah, but that's essentially what they're trying to create first is a digital
Right.
version of that. So that should be coming soon.
Awesome.
Again, sticking with local development.
This is the local section.
This is a local section, yeah.
People.
A company set up by a couple of Abertay students, Pixel Blimp.
Yep.
Recently took part in the Ouya challenge called Create. Basically, they had to make a game for Ouya, the new Android platform, in 10 days, and they created Infinity Arena.
Is that with the robots come out?
Yeah, it's
yeah.
twin stick 3D twin stick shooter.
Yeah.
The robots come out at you and you shoot them.
It is really, really interesting.
Yeah. I saw some footage of it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I've
they
been
have-
following
they
them on
have a trailer.
Facebook, and
And Jan was showing me some stuff as well.
yeah, I was looking through it. I'm keeping up to date with that. It does look really, really interesting.
So they've got a trailer for it. Check it out and vote for them.
This
because-
we will definitely link.
So-
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
In terms of the UA challenge, like whoever wins, did they get their
They get
game on?
$45,000 for prize money for development purposes.
But all the games that enter go on the UA console.
Only the winners, I think.
Only the
It's
winners?
sort of in stages,
Right,
I think.
okay.
Right.
So this is the first stage. They need the votes to progress to the next stage. So
Well, we'll have to play that when I get my UA then.
yeah.
I have bought one.
But yeah, so like have a look at Pixel Blimp
Yeah.
and their fellow Abertay students, which shows what people can do.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
It's good to see the kind of next generation of designers and programmers and artists and everything kind of pushing in the industry.
Yeah. Especially over the last couple of months, there's been a lot of startup companies.
Yeah.
That are trying
Definitely.
something new.
definitely.
and you'll probably meet most of those companies at Game in Scotland. I know, nice wee link in there.
Nice wee tie-in.
It's being held in Liquid Nightclub in Dundee. Bouncing during the day. That is being held on the 9th of March, and you can sign up online at gamingscotland.com. Again, we'll put a link on our Facebook and Twitter. Make sure you're following that. And it's a good chance for people that are wanting to get into the industry to hear from the experts within the industry just now. What can you do to make it? Get your name put out there.
Because it's like just a few conferences, like people talk and things, and also you can go around and actually speak. People have stands. You can go around and actually speak to the people in the stands, and then you can go and like watch the talks and all this kind of stuff. So
it's definitely worthwhile if you're interested.
And remember to bring your
industry.
CVs.
Yes, definitely.
And Valve are going to be there. No, that's an absolute lie.
But
Gabe Newell's doing the catering.
Yeah. Leave Gabe Newell alone. I love Gabe Newell.
Gabe Newell was alone. That'd be a great game.
No. Just because you don't like Steam.
It's not that I don't like Steam, it's that I've not got Steam.
Get Steam.
I really should.
You're living under a rock.
I've not got I've not got a gaming PC, so it's not going to make...
Oh yeah, Thomas Was Alone is going to crush
Yeah, I was about to say, to be perfectly honest, you don't need a gaming
Right.
PC to play Thomas Was Alone.
One of mine and David's friends has Steam and doesn't have a graphics card in his
Okay,
Still tries.
there's no
Even
excuse
he
for
can
it.
play Mountain Blade.
Yeah.
There's no
Mountain
excuse
Blade.
for him to not
How
have
do you
one.
Mountain Blade?
Yeah, let's.
Right.
It may be a continuous plug
This
from me
episode
and
has
you.
been sponsored by
But Mountain Blade. Yeah, no, not really. But
It's been
if you,
sponsored by
but yeah, no,
Get Steam.
yeah, get
Okay.
Steam. Everybody has to get
And
Steam.
Not buy. Just everyone.
start a
Everyone
camp-
who has Steam has Dota 2. Play Dota 2.
I'll tell you what. Actually, if even if you
Play
don't
Halo.
really play PC games, I'd still advise somebody gets Steam. It's a good way to kind of keep up with the news in the industry as well, because there's always
there's tons
community
of forums
updates and
things
stuff.
and
Yeah.
it's really good.
Should start a campaign for Andrew to get Steam. That should be.
Andrew
First time.
needs to get Steam.
We've got three sign-ups. Just
3
now.
sign-ups.
I think you should just get it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And forget about that whole campaign. Just get Steam.
Yeah, I'm just waiting for like a picture to appear of like Max on Facebook just holding up a sign. If I get 10,000 likes, Andrew will get Steam.
I'd kill myself. Right, good.
Not if I beat you to it.
You're gonna kill yourself first. We'll see.
Right.
Suicide rate.
Suicide challenge. Let's do this. But yeah, no.
So now we're speaking of Steam. We're gonna go into the bigger picture, which is a mode in Steam.
it's the big picture.
That link. Oh,
That
now
link was
coming in.
terrible.
That was good.
That was pretty good.
Not as
So-
good as mine.
So
Nah,
crazy hype.
I thought we were talking about THQ.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll talk about
See, look, I've got arrows.
THQ.
So much for not around your
Bruh.
right schedule.
Schedule in your head. Right.
No
No.
pens were harmed in the making of this podcast.
Stay
Oh
Foster.
God. Reflex is like a cat, man.
Right,
Yeah,
okay,
man.
so one of
Did
the
it fill in the chest?
So THQ.
one of the biggest
Yeah.
news stories of this
That
week is
is-
THQ.
Well, last week.
Last
and the week
week,
before that.
yeah.
I want to cry. I've been crying myself to sleep most nights.
It's been a
Um,
bit of a blow.
I'm
to
almost
the
in
game
tears
community.
now. Oh God.
Yeah.
Oh, it's so emotional.
So yeah, their assets were
Darksiders.
sold off.
It was alright.
Darksiders is amazing.
It was alright.
Darksiders is like, in terms of like recent games that I've played, it's one of few where I've played from start to finish in one go. It was the first game in ages to really grip me. And I think that THQ being liquidated is like, I think that it's really sad because in our generation, I was about to say, in our generation, how many consoles or systems have you like seen that don't have THQ
Well, I
games?
kind of
Yeah.
I kind of grew up with the
THQ
WWE
is-
franchise or WWF
Yeah,
or whatever, and now that's been sold off to 2K
Yeah.
Sports.
No,
childhood was that THQ logo with the little red.
No, I think
Yeah.
no, my
That's what I'm gonna
my
call it, by the
childhood
way.
was never soft.
nobody can see my hand spinning round when I'm saying the red. That's all they get. But
Oh yeah, THQ. I'm sad they're
That
gone,
makes sausage.
definitely. But like not so much Dawn of War 2, but like the Dawn of War games.
Dawn of War games.
Like that's what I love. Like
Company of
real-time
Heroes.
strategy before.
Company
coming
Heroes,
back,
oh god.
Company Heroes as well. And even then, like the wrestling games when I was younger, really liked them. Character creation, so much fun.
I think pretty much everything's been bought up though. Apart
Homefront
from,
got bought by
well,
Crytek.
Homefront was being made by Crytek. They just bought it.
Yeah, they bought
rights to
everything,
it.
which I think that's actually a good thing. If anything, I think that like it's definitely.
I don't want to make comments on Homefront.
Good. Homefront, right? Homefront was a good idea, but there was so much kind of restriction on when it was being made because of the games that were out at the time, like the Call of Duties and stuff were all.
Yeah, I suppose it was,
Everybody wanted it to be like that,
Yeah.
and like if I understand it if you're funding a project and you see another game that's doing something well and you kind of go, no, I want that, and like the team Crytek would have been like, oh,
She just went and bought
Yeah.
a copy of Call of Duty.
yeah, it's like, well,
that.
that's the way I look at it. It's like the problem with Homefront was it was like Call of Duty, and everybody was like, well, if I wanted to play that, I'd just play Call of Duty. Why play something like it?
Yeah.
But Homefront 2 is stepping away from that, and Crytek know, like Crysis is a good example of how they do FPS differently from everybody else.
Oh yeah, I love
And-
Crysis. It's so amazing.
Yeah, and like
The first one's just so good.
I think that if they can do the same kind of, if they stick with we've got a good idea and we're going to run with that, not make it like anything else, I think that Homefront 2 will be successful because it was an interesting idea, just not pulled off as well as they could have done it.
Yeah. Company of Heroes and Dawn of War being bought by Sega.
Thank the Lord.
And since Sega will publish the Total War games as
Yes.
well,
Oh
there
my god, I can't wait until Dawn of War 3 now.
there'd be amazing collaboration.
Like,
I'll
I'm just
feel like
pit-
a map
yeah,
of,
I- I'm thinking Rome 2 kind
oh
of
my
style
God, that'd
level
be
of
amazing.
massive armies coming in and stuff.
But rather than like saying these games are being bought to get published by new developers, I think these developers have bought them to sort of kill their competition. I mean,
Yeah, in a sense,
in a way, yeah.
definitely, because Dawn of War was
there's
Dawn
absolutely-
of War and Company Heroes are
Yeah.
other than the Total War games, they're the few ones that I can think of that come
That
to
are
mind when somebody says RTS.
Yeah.
there's absolutely
Well, yeah,
like,
okay, StarCraft, but
StarCraft is
I've
the
never
RPG.
ever played StarCraft, and specifically because of how popular it is, not in a hipster sense, in a sort of, I think
In a
that
hipster sense.
I no
You think Blizzard already have enough money?
in the no in the
Blizzard
sa-
Activision have enough money. They
in
don't
the
need my
same
money.
reason I don't play Team Fortress 2 is you can't be new at games like that. I
Oh no, yeah, I agree with that. Like,
Yeah.
I got
which
StarCraft
means that they're
2
not fun for me.
I got StarCraft 2
As the
fairly
learning curve of
swiftly
PlanetSide
after
2
it came
hit
out.
me.
Yeah.
Like StarCraft 2, I got it fairly swiftly, roughly after it came out. And I'm not like I was alright at RTSs. Like Dawn of War was. Well, I recently found out what I once playing StarCraft is not an RTS, so not in
Yeah.
the real sense. So like playing StarCraft first time around, it was literally everyone was learning, and I was alright. I wasn't terrible, but I was alright. And then I left it and stopped playing for like 3 months, and everyone else got good, and I went back, and it was a nightmare.
Exactly.
And I can't play it anymore.
PlanetSide 2 last night, and we played it on launch, and we were okay.
We were doing pretty well.
And then we played it last night. Stopped playing it after 10 minutes.
Yeah,
came back
everyone gets
50
good
times.
so fast.
Yeah, I think that like that fits in with what you were saying yesterday with when we were playing PlayStation All Stars.
Yeah.
And
I'm good at stuff at first, but I'm not very good at getting.
Better.
Yeah, I'm not very good at getting better. I'm
you're good until people
I'm
figure out how to play the game.
above average,
you
But I want to
plateau
get
on
any
your
better.
debut.
Yeah.
Oh
This
my
is the best
God.
podcast we ever made.
Oh, yeah, it's just gonna go downhill. Neil's gonna talk less and less. He's gonna mumble more and more.
I'm gonna get fatter and fatter. There's gonna be less room for microphones.
But I will do more research.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah,
Metro
so-
got bots as well by Metro and another Saints Row got bots by the company that published Dead Island.
Oh,
Is at first
Ooh.
worrying, but then
Oh.
they promised not to touch.
have they promised
Volition?
not to
w-
package a dead torso with their games?
They promised not to interfere with Volition and I can't remember what they're called, the ones who make Metro. They're not touching them. For their
I
development cycle,
think
so
that's a good move though.
they're
That's
gonna let them
a
finish
smart
the
move.
games and then not interfere with it. So
Um,
Metro's safe, which is amazing. Metro's awesome.
yeah, you still
You still need to play Metro.
yeah. like, I'm gonna play it on camera. So wait, people of YouTube, wait for me to film my reaction of Metro.
Me and David are gonna plug something now.
We may plug something later. We have some secret news that you should keep an eye out on the Amberglass Facebook page.
Sweet.
But yeah, right. What I was going to say earlier was E3 hype about Battlefield 4. That was my excited voice.
I'm so surprised it made another Battlefield.
Yeah, I never thought that a Battlefield would be made again. Battlefield 3, that's the pinnacle. How can it get better than that? Like loads of people are moaning. I'm excited, but everybody's just like, Battlefield 4, they're just gonna ruin it. They're just gonna
don't like EA.
Yeah.
Yeah, no.
Like, I like EA's games.
Podcast. Everyone already knows that.
Yeah. I like EA. Sometimes. Sometimes.
EA goes through.
Don't you lie to me.
EA goes through that roller coaster of popularity. They go from being like really popular at one point, and then everyone hates them. Then they're really popular, and everyone hates them. It keeps on doing up and down.
But I think that's kind of how their games go. It's like EA seem to be hit or miss. Kind of when they release games, it's like either you love them and you will play them for years and years.
I think EA and Activision keep switching place, but
but yeah, so there's a lot of hype. It's not been confirmed. But it's been
so don't sue us.
Highly speculated that Battlefield 4 will be unveiled at this year's E3.
And it hopefully will be a continuation of the 2142.
Yeah,
so it'll be futuristic.
So
cool.
That's what I'm hoping.
Robots and stuff.
Yeah. If that's the case,
should be a bit
then Battlefield 4.
Modern.
If it's just Battlefield 3, but on PlayStation 6 with new graphics, and oh my god,
that's what I was.
It looks like
a
real person
with better graphics.
That's what I was going to say. If Battlefield 4 is being speculated, is it speculated for current consoles or is it for next?
I think it's next gen. Yeah. I think that. Well, I don't know, because there's been like a lot of talk about the next gen consoles.
I'm seeing it at the end. They're going to be announced, I think, at E4. E4.
Yes.
E4.
E4. That's the next generation of electronic.
E4 is a channel. It's a TV channel. That's going to be where they unveil it. You're going to be watching. You're going to be watching Scrubs, and it's going to be interrupted. We interrupt this thrilling episode of Scrubs.
That everyone's already seen.
This brand new joke from Zach Braff that isn't a cutaway into a dream sequence and to reveal Battlefield 4.
Can you imagine if Zach, like JD, had done the dream sequence and it went into Surgery Simulator?
Oh! I think that you could reenact all of Scrubs in the Surgery Simulator. But
you can't advance until you've actually finished the surgery. If they're meant to live.
But yeah, so like with Battlefield 4, I think that it is next gen thing. And
which means next gen has to be announced.
Yeah, as we've been like looking into it, I've been looking into it for ages. As when you want to be in the industry, you tend to keep a eagle's vision for the next gen of consoles, because they're getting interesting. But hopefully the PlayStation 4 will have something released this year. Some kind of word.
They announced like Watch Dogs is probably going to be not Watch Dogs. What's it called? Is it Watch Dogs actually?
Watch Dogs, yeah.
Sleeping Dogs.
Watch Dogs. Oh my god.
Last E3.
Yeah.
And it looks like it's probably going to be an next gen console.
Yeah, I don't think
it's believe that was nearly a year ago.
Yeah.
That was announced.
I know.
I'm almost saying
people still talk. You've seen it,
ridiculous.
Yeah. That's why people still talk about it. It looks so amazing. But yeah, no, I'm hoping for some next gen news. I think that with the release of the Wii U, there's definitely a push for it.
Yeah.
Because now Nintendo are dominating the market again. But although the Wii U's sales aren't like as good as the Wii's, but they're still kind of like
the Wii U is kind of current gen. Right?
Yeah. Nintendo are always a step behind in graphics, but they're always like 6 steps ahead in innovation.
Yeah.
Right. So like I always think
that's because they need to change the market. Like they like if the gaming market just stopped and died and there was no one played any more games ever, like Sony and Microsoft will continue being companies. Like Microsoft still make computers and like they'll still make Office stuff. Sony will still make TVs. Everyone will be happy. Nintendo will die.
Yeah.
Like Nintendo needs to essentially keep the market different, keep people involved in the market, and change it rather than waiting for it to change. Like Nintendo released the Wii, and I mean I bought one. I liked it, but by the time I bought my PlayStation 3, it was just collecting dust, right? But then PlayStation 3 was released, Microsoft was released, and they're like, oh, people like this motion control stuff. Suppose we'll release the Move and the Kinect. Nintendo changed the face of the industry, and Sony and Microsoft adapted.
I think that they're kind of continuing that because
Sony said that they're experimenting with new controllers. It's not going to be a DualShock controller for the PlayStation 4, apparently. Yeah. They're saying they've been experimenting with new controllers more like the Vita with a touchscreen. Yeah. Which I think, I don't know whether or not Microsoft haven't said anything about this, but if Sony release a controller with a touchscreen, then that means games will be developed primarily for the Wii U and PlayStation 4, and then they'll be ported to Microsoft's console, which I would prefer because, well, I'm probably going to buy a PlayStation 4, and I don't really, like, my brother buys Microsoft consoles. I don't buy Microsoft consoles. Yeah. I'm not too fussed. I prefer Sony's exclusives. I don't really like Halo all that much. I prefer to play Little Big Planet.
See, I just dig myself into debt and try and get both. I try and get all of it and go, oh no, where's my bills? The stuff in David's house. Yeah. So, but yeah, no, like I get what you're meaning with that. I think that Nintendo are definitely changing things with the Wii U. In there's becoming less and less of a difference between handheld and consoles.
I think Sony were also trying to change that with the Vita. With the Vita. Because the Vita was released so long after the PlayStation 3, they had roughly the same power. You could kind of have roughly the same games on it. But the problem with blurring the lines between handheld and console is the Wii's definitely the Wii U's trying to do it. But it's not the same in terms of the Vita PlayStation 3 because the 3DS is so much more underpowered than the Wii U because it was released. But I think that'll be good because there's different ways in which you can approach the connection. Because they both have the two screens, you can with the sense of Monster Hunter 3, which is coming out in March. You can have. They're actually releasing a 3DS and a Wii U version, which you can just port your save onto your 3DS, keep playing it when you're on the go.
Yeah, our podcasts are going to be very much a case of we've been playing Monster Hunter.
We're going to
be playing Monster Hunter in the podcast, and we will have been playing it at home on our Wii U's. Yeah.
Game have actually got a pre-order. You can pre-order both of them at once for £60, and I think I might.
I'm doing that.
There's also it's only in America, but you can buy a special cover for your 3DS that's a Monster Hunter one, and it wraps around it. No, it's brushed steel with the monsters engraved in it with a laser. It looks amazing.
Yeah. In case anybody hasn't noticed, myself and Max are crazy for Monster Hunter.
Yeah. I like the shooting mini game in Monster Hunter. That's what I like. Or taking the meat until it shoots.
Yeah. The music. The music when you're doing that is amazing.
A music-based shooting game that's amazing. Yeah. But no, that's innovation.
But we'll talk more about that closer to when Monster
definitely. But
speaking of releases, Grand Theft Auto 5's release has been delayed.
It was supposed to come out in
spring.
Yeah.
Yep.
Not too
September.
Fast.
I'd rather they push it back and polish it off.
I know it's going to be good. I already know it's going to be good. So I in fact, to be honest, too many games are coming out March, April time anyway. I'm going to buy Tomb Raider. I'm going to buy Need for Speed Most Wanted. I'm going to buy Monster Hunter. I wouldn't have time. Last of Us is out.
Yep.
And I'm not gonna have time to play Grand Theft Auto 5. And even then, if I did buy Grand Theft Auto, none of them would ever get played apart from Grand Theft Auto 5.
I think that
because it looks so amazing, and I can't wait.
Grand Theft Auto 5 looks really, really good, but it's one of those ones that I'm not outwardly excited about it. It's not. It's a kind of game that I knew was going to happen.
Yeah. Me and Andrew
it's expected, and I don't get excited over it because I know it's going to be released. I know what it's gonna be like as well. They don't get me wrong. The Grand Theft Auto formula works. If it's not broken, don't try and fix it. You know?
Yeah. That's the thing. Me and Andrew were actually talking about that before. We were just saying earlier. It's been almost a year since Watch Dogs was announced and The Last of Us, and people are still talking about games like that. But no one's really been talking about Grand Theft Auto 5. But that's because after Grand Theft Auto 4, there was no surprise that Grand Theft Auto 5 was going to be released. We knew it was going to happen. And I'm still going to buy it. I know I'm going to love the game, but the point is, I don't need to look up information on it I do. I'm like, oh, what's happening with Watch Dogs now? I don't need to do that with Grand Theft Auto 5 because I know it's going to be good, and I'll just wait until it comes out and play it.
Yeah, and
I think it's still going to get the sales. It just isn't getting the
There's always
massive amounts of
there's always that danger of expectation, and then if it does come out and it's not exactly what we thought it was, then people are going to think, well, we've still got Watch Dogs, we've still got The Last of Us, and all that to invest their money in.
I think that Grand Theft Auto is not going to be one I'm going to get in release. Not because I don't like the game or anything like that, but it's one that I can wait for because I'd rather wait to see the reaction. I'm more interested in how it gets received than the actual game.
It's a bit like the what's happened to the Wii U. People have waited to see what can be released for it before they actually publish it.
I think that.
Sorry.
Well, I hope. Same with publishers. They've actually just went, do we want to release this game on the Wii U? Let's see how it's going.
Exactly.
That's not how a console launch should be.
That's not how the industry should be. The industry should be.
The industry, like
people
Ubisoft,
are too
that's
cautious.
the best part about Ubisoft. They dove right into the Wii U, and I've loved them for it. Like Assassin's Creed, it was ported to the Wii U from like the other consoles. It was released a month after, but I mean you can't exactly time travel and get it before. So but they actually had a different team to port it. It wasn't completely necessary, but I bought it for it because I didn't want to play Assassin's Creed while I was doing my uni work. I wanted to play it over Christmas. So I bought it for it. And things like Zombie U, they released the Just Dance, that's Ubisoft, right? And 2 more games are being released. I can't remember what they are. Rayman.
Rayman Origins, oh my god.
New Rayman for the Wii U.
Yep.
And all these, Ubisoft have completely dove into the Wii U's publications, and there are other companies that literally just went, we'll see how it does, and it's like, well, it won't do well if games aren't on it.
Yeah.
And then they just won't publish for it. So that's why I'm hoping that if Sony releases a console with a touchscreen tablet as a controller, then it'll be like, it's not that much to port it to the Wii U, then there it is, and then Microsoft would maybe not get the bad ports, it'd still be a good port, but they would then be the third console rather than the Wii in the previous. Well, it's this generation. So I don't know. I'm hoping that at least it gains some speed because I mean I really like my Wii U. I can't wait until Monster Hunter comes out for it. I can't wait until the new Mario, Legend of Zelda Wind Waker release, the new Zelda in 2005. Like all these games that I really can't wait to play, but they're so few and far between. I want more now.
Yeah. Like I think that. The way things are going, there needs to be more innovation and more risk taken in the industry. Otherwise, we're going to get caught in that safety trap, which I think the film industry tends to be is in now. It's stuck in doing the same thing over and over again. And the
games industry is there now. AAA games are always sequels.
That's it. I mean,
it's understandable why they do it now, though, just because the
financial. But I think that it's a real shame when that happens because. Again, with film just now, which is probably the only example you can put up against it, is like the best movies I've seen in the past year, other than The Hobbit. Hobbit's never included in this. But I think that they've been very underrated and they're different. And like the independent film is very, very interesting and a lot of people don't look at it. And I think that it's the same in the game market in that they're stuck in that we have to be safe with what we create. We have to have some kind of return. We have to have so much money coming in. And it's more about the finance of it than the actual art.
That's actually
it's a very natural
segue into there.
Yeah.
Why, in a sense, like we can't exactly say it's struggling because it's still a multi-billion-dollar industry, but like AAA is starting to slow down. Like people are getting in. Well, not slow down, but
more to do with like how people
people are receiving.
I mean,
like everyone will buy Call of Duty, but everyone will complain about Call of Duty. Like, you still bought it, and you're still funding the industry, and you're still throwing your money on the fire, and it's just going to get bigger. But like indie games have expanded mainly due to services like Steam and stuff that you can quickly download them to your.
Definitely.
And especially like since indie games are so small, like most of them aren't even a gigabyte. Like if you buy, like I bought Sleeping Dogs on Steam because it was on sale for £10. Bought that, and it took, I don't know, an hour and a half to download, and I wasn't too fast. I was doing other stuff, but the indie games, it's literally like a minute downloaded, and then you can play them. Like again, going back to Thomas Was Alone, that literally took a minute for me to download and start playing, and that has like 100 odd levels. Yeah, so,
I mean, once again, plugging Mount and Blade here it's like a good example of like a not
Double
they're-
A title.
Yeah, essentially, I like that.
Single A.
I like the fact that
It's not double A.
yeah, it doesn't qualify as double A. But like, no, I like it because when you're looking at PC gaming in particular, you don't find it on consoles so much anymore. It's
yeah.
like you used to have on consoles
You have
those
lots of
in between
small
games, like really
publishers.
really polished small published games.
Yeah.
So like almost indie
Yeah.
games, but really really polished.
But,
Things like Chivalry as well. And I think
Well,
that
Chivalry is an indie game. Chivalry
yeah,
doesn't have
yeah,
a
I
proper publisher.
think that Chivalry is probably a good example of how that's been better received
Yeah.
than any AAA game I've seen in the past
Well, that's
month.
the thing. Like the thing about it is, Chivalry, like, it doesn't have a publisher. Technically, it's an indie
Yeah.
game. It's really polished. There's a lot of it. There's a massive community, and also it has. Well, it's £20, but like you
Yeah.
know,
It's
that's
cheap enough that
it's cheap enough that
Chivalry
it's
has
basically an indie
massive
game,
sales.
But
yeah.
I know it has massive sales, but like,
Like-
it's almost a AAA price tag. Like £30 is a AAA
Yeah,
price tag.
yeah. But you can
So-
do that. You can do that now.
Exactly. They
I
can
like
they're
that.
selling it.
I
so
like that.
It's fine.
And a lot of people kind of they see prices, and I know I've done it myself sometimes, and I feel bad for doing it. But I think a lot of people sometimes judge games by their price tags.
Yeah.
They look at them and they go, "Oh, that's not
Yeah.
really that
Yeah, it's
expensive.
£2,
It might not
won't
be.
It won't be good.
It won't be worth it."
But
And-
even at that, like you say, you buy games when they're on the sale.
Mm.
Do you is that because you don't feel like they're worth the
No,
full
like,
price, or
I'll be honest. Like, I don't just do that. Like,
yeah,
But there are games I look at. Say to be the perfect example is XCOM, right? Because I wanted to buy the new XCOM game, and I didn't want to buy it for PlayStation 3 or anything like that because I wanted to play it on my PC. And obviously it's on Steam, so I look at it and it's £30. And I was like, because it was released again during my coursework phase doing that, I didn't really want to buy it straight away. And I was thinking Christmas sale and Steam's coming up, I'll buy it in the Christmas sale. And the Christmas sale came up, and I think it was lowered to £25 or something.
Yeah.
And I was like, I'd prefer if it was 20. And I waited out the Steam sale, seeing if it was on a flash sale or something. And then it ended and it was £30 again. And I was just like I believe that XCOM is well worth £30 to pay. But like because of like last year and stuff, the Steam sales were massive because basically Valve were trying to get tons of people to play on Steam.
Mhm.
But now they're established as the PC distributor, right? Steam is the PC
Yeah.
distributor. Like last year, they were beating every other online distributor on PC games, so that everyone flocked to them. But now, they don't need that. They just lower their prices a little bit, and everyone's like, they weren't even beating prices this year. And the point is, there's no real competition anymore in terms of like distributing PC games, and Valve's just completely taken it over.
I think all the
And-
competition kind of collaborates.
Exactly.
Valve,
I mean, it's for essentially sometimes for good reason because Steam is a great program.
Yeah.
But part of what made it so great was how Steam sales came around and you were like, oh my god, Binding of Isaac's 50p. Oh my god, this game's £2. And this is like, I mean, I think it was, what game was it? Last year I got the Batman series, all of the Batman Arkham games, including like Gotham City Imposters and all the DLC for £15 in a flash sale, and it was 98% off. And it was something like it would like all of the money that you would have paid on it because it had like Gotham City Imposters, which is like an online FPS.
Yeah.
And all the DLC for that, which was hundreds, like it was like train simulator type DLC, where it just
Yeah.
like it was only like 50p per DLC pack, but there was just millions of them.
Yeah.
And I think it amounted to something like £250, and I got that for £15. And I didn't even play Gotham City Imposter. I just played Arkham City and Arkham Asylum, and it was amazing.
I was about to say I've kind of done
You
similar
bought
things.
lots of
Yeah.
I did the
developer packs?
I
them.
much to my fault, I lost a lot of money on that, but like I didn't lose a lot of money. I'm quite happy with my Steam library. I basically saw all the developer packs and then saw a limitation on days, and I was just like, holy crap, I need to buy it all now, and bought I think it was 5 developer packs
Wow.
from Steam, and like one of them THQ, more tiers. In their final
You
days,
could've got it for free.
well, no. THQ. It's amazing to know that the money I spent on their developer pack, which was only £20, I probably could have used to buy the Darksiders franchise. But like, I think that that was really really good. But like, I like seeing stuff like that. But at the same time, I sometimes feel bad about it afterwards because I bought that and then checked how much I was saving rather than. Because I assumed like, oh, there's a bunch of games, so I'll buy them for £20.
Yeah.
And then I looked and it was like originally £135. I was like, what? for 20 quid.
Mm.
That's
yeah,
a bit.
no, like, but that's the thing. Like, Steam's fallen behind in terms of that. Like, it's now,
Yeah.
it's now because it's established and there's no competition. It doesn't need to lower its prices. But I don't know. Like, that's I still love Steam, but like going back to like you saying like sometimes it isn't. Like, do you think it's not worth it? I do think the games are worth it, but I mean, there are very few games I buy on release. I mean, I don't even have that many. I mean, I have a lot of Steam games, but that's because most of them are indie games. But like in terms of PlayStation 3 games, I think I have 9. I never trade games in. I have like 9 PlayStation 3 games. I have 8 DS games, 3 3DS games, like 10 Wii games. And the thing is, like, I don't really buy a lot of games. I just play them a lot. Like, I've got hours and hours and hours racked up on all of these games, but I don't buy a lot. So I really look at how much, like, in terms of XCOM, like, I look at it, I'm like, how much am I going to play that? I'm at uni just now, and I'm not really doing all that much apart from uni stuff, and I've got my coursework to do, and I was kind of looking at it, and it went down to £25, and I was like, oh, if it was 20, I'd buy it, and then I'd essentially save it for later.
Yeah.
But the point is, like, when I actually get around to playing it, it could be, you know, £10 on Steam. So, like, you know, in 6 months when I actually have the time to play it, it'd be, I could buy it then. And if it's £10, then I've saved a bunch of money.
Yeah.
Like, I don't, there aren't a lot of games I buy on release, like Monster Hunter games, Metal Gear Solid games, Mario games and Zelda games, Smash Bros games, a lot of Nintendo games. I don't know, like
I think that alone says quite a lot about the kind of way we approach the industry as well, rather than just the industry's changing. But you've got to look at that in terms of the industry is driven by the community.
Yeah.
And so if the industry changes, it's because of the community. It's not because publishers are suddenly going, oh, we make AAA games, but we don't want to be as popular as indie games. It's like, no, well, the community finds indie games more interesting and more appealing in some ways. And I think that like our approach is definitely changing because we know what we can get for our money. We're more aware of what's worth buying and what's not, because we're becoming more knowledgeable about games in general.
Well, that's another thing. It's literally like, fair enough, the amount of indie games I've bought is racked up a price tag, but like I look at a game and it's like, that's £40, and I'm like, I'll come back and maybe buy that. But like if I'm on Steam and I'm surfing Steam, I'm like, oh, that game looks alright. How much is it? £5? Pff, bought. How much is this game? £8? Pff, bought.
Yeah.
Like, and fair enough, it's racked up a price tag over time, but when you're looking at the single, like when it's just a single digit,
if it's a single
like
digit, you buy it. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a game for £9. I'll buy that. Oh,
Yeah.
it was terrible.
Yeah. Like
you don't feel like you've wasted money. For some reason, I don't feel like I've wasted money. As soon as it goes £10, £10 is so much more expensive than £9.
Yeah.
You don't even know.
It could be £9.99, and you'll still feel bad if it's 1 penny more. But like, no, I think that there's definitely more knowledge now about games, and you can kind of financially judge whether things are worth it or not. So like definitely our approach in general is changing, and I think that the industry is kind of moving with that.
I think that and how we're in the like massive amount of indie games starting to release now will kind of result in too crowded market of indie games.
I don't
Yeah.
think it will, because
I think that the actual market itself, because of the purpose of indie games. Indie games are an expressive form. You don't.
Yeah.
People don't. It's like a good
it's
quote
before
of.
Before you had such a small amount of releases that it was really shone
yeah.
through, but now I think that some really good indie titles might be buried by just the sheer amount of other ones.
It's a good quote from the Indie Game the Movie, which I recommend everybody watch at some point. But when one of the guys working on Super Meat Boy said, if this game sells 1,000 copies over the next 2 years, I'll be happy, because I didn't make this game for somebody else. I made this game for me.
Yeah.
And that's the difference between indie games and AAA games. AAA games
you go
you go into a AAA studio and you go, this is my job.
That's what I mean. I think that was the difference, but I think because people are starting to get attracted to the idea of indie games, people might go into it with a different approach.
Well, I hope not. I hope not, because it wouldn't be indie games anymore. But like that's the thing, is like that's the difference between indie and AAA, really, when it comes down to it and your approach to it. It's with a AAA title, you go in and you go, this is my job. When you go into an indie development, you go, oh my god, I get to do this today.
Yeah.
You know? It's like, that's the difference, because, and it might seem unimportant, but the overall output is so drastically different. There's a lot more emotional involvement with an indie game, and once that stops, once people's approach stop, it's no longer an indie game, and people will continue to do that, and those games will still be indie. So I think that like, regardless if there's a change, if there's like an overcrowding of the market and things start to become more polished and indie games start to rule the market, they're no longer indie games, you know? I think that change is going to be progressive throughout the industry. That's always going to be this kind of rotation of it.
2013 is going to be interesting anyway.
Definitely.
I also think that AAA market will probably pick up again in the
Oh yeah,
years.
definitely.
I think it's mainly because of the market crash that
they've
had to kind of be like, oh, we'll just stick with sequels.
Yeah,
It's
well,
a reliable way to make money.
Not even just that. I think that indie is a kind of example of the originality you can have nowadays, and that's going to take over the AAA market.
It's also no longer all FPSs. Like, indie games have, it's just such a wide array of different games. Like, you get games that make you feel a certain emotion. Like, it's all designed. Like, that's what Vichen's that's why he builds games. He builds games to make people feel a specific way, and the whole game is designed to make you feel that way. Yeah. And indie games are also designed like Super Meat Boy. It's designed to make you feel frustrated, but like so euphoric when you actually beat the level. Yeah. And definitely. Things like that, and it like indie games really play on your emotions. Whereas like I don't know, it just seems that AAA studios are just FPS, and or just shooting games and just in general, like even games like Watch Dogs, even though it puts a nice spin on it, the game was just like when they showed it at E3, it was just so violent, and the whole AAA industry is just built on violent games, and think like even I can't remember who it was. It was I think it was an article I read. It was literally like watching the Last of Us trailer, and it was basically showing, and it shows you like this guy's relationship with this girl, and they're basically fighting for survival. And then at the very end, and you feel like really powerfully linked to these characters. And then at the very end, when there's only one guy left in this raid that was trying to attack them, like he pulls a shotgun and points at him, and the guy begs for mercy, and he shoots him right in the face. And that led the whole stadium to like a standing ovation. And that should not be what games are about. Like that was just unnecessary violence.
I think
the thing about games is the same as films and books, though. It's kind of like there's such a wide spectrum.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, there's a wide spectrum of games because of the indie community. In the AAA community, it's just built on violence.
But I think maybe it's just that the AAA community is the platform to release that type of game. Like you couldn't. It's hard to go.
You couldn't approach that.
You couldn't do it in an indie environment.
Well, you could inside. There are some games that definitely
an artistic or
make it different. I think that again that's to do with the approach, and still like indie games are going to be more varied in terms of emotional spectrum and attitudes.
Exactly. I don't think you can use the word indie game to describe it anymore. Well, soon I think it's split into like different
groups. I think that I think that indie game. I don't like the term. I use it a lot, but I don't like it whenever I do, because I'm always like, well, you're trying to define something which you can't define with one overarching thing. Yeah. Because it's a very every game is different from something else. That's the point in the indie community. So why would you limit yourself to looking at them as a whole? Every game is different, and every designer or like programmer, artist, whoever's made it, has taken a different approach, and they've had this different emotional connection to it. Yeah. And I think that that's really important when we're looking at them, and don't define them to genres. It's like this, because like what always irritates me is when you look at these games and you think, and once again I'm subject to it, which I'm starting to lose more of now, but like when you say Batman Dark Knight, you think Christopher Nolan. Mm-hmm. If I say Super Meat Boy, do you think of anybody like that?
What do you mean?
Do you think of a person tied to the game?
I think
right. Yeah. You're that's how it should be, But like you can take so many games that you just don't know who created them.
So the director's name is so tied to the title.
But I think that's wrong. That indie games aren't like that.
Yeah, but
because the game is with a person,
you don't have Super Meat Boy by blah blah. Or
well, no, it does.
It does. Yeah, it does.
Straight underneath Super Meat Boy that pops up. You don't have.
Yeah, no, but like.
But in films, you have the first thing you see after title is normally the director's name.
Yeah, but like, how many do you sit and watch the credits at the end of a game?
Even in the intro for
No, but like, regardless, in a game, you don't. I don't really look at credits. I don't. I think that's kind of a problem in how we look at things. I think that we need to look at the people as well.
Most games I'm really fond of, I know I don't know who the fourth programmer in the line is. Just like I really like the Batman series. I don't know who cameraman number 4 was. Like I know who Christopher Nolan was. I know who
cameraman number 4 was. I was cameraman number 4.
But like I know the director. Like same with the Metal Gear Solid franchise. I couldn't tell you who the sound guy was, but I could tell you that Hideo Kojima designed it. Like, do you know, like that game company, Genoa Chen is the designer, I think. But I couldn't tell you anyone else in the team. Like the only reason I know both people in Team Meat is because there's only 2 of them.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. That's why we need to stop looking at that. We don't look at them as a genre. You think the person tied to the game. I think that's how we should start looking at that.
With in terms of films and games. I'm pretty bad with like names with directors and actors in terms of films anyway. But I like to know things like just the same way. A film, like with games, it's a lot of sequels and stuff. Same with films, but with Man of Steel, say, right? I know it says produced by Christopher Nolan, but as soon as Christopher Nolan's name came up, everyone was like, "Oh my god, it's gonna be exactly like Batman," right? Because like they didn't even read produced by, like screw that. So they just see Christopher Nolan, they're like, boom, right?
Yeah.
But same with like the games industry. Like Metal Gear Solid gets released, everyone knows by Hideo Kojima, and then a new IP will come up and it'll be like designed by Hideo Kojima, and everyone will be like, yes, because Hideo Kojima knows how to design a game. He knows how to design Metal Gear Solid, Zone of Enders, Space Police, or whatever the hell that game was. Police Knots.
Yeah, Police
awesome.
Knots. Which at Eurogamer he was talking about how he'd like to do a sequel.
Oh, that would be amazing.
He hasn't got anything planned, but he'd like to do it.
Everyone knows. Like it's just speaking about it, like you like few designers, just like there are a few directors and a few actors that everyone just knows the name of, and everyone's like, oh my god, he's in that. He could make that good. Like whether or not the design or the name, you're just like as soon as you see the designer, you're just like wow. And games are getting to that point. But they aren't quite at the point where it's just the same thing. It's like they're not as old as movies are.
Well, it always comes back to that. Where it's a very young industry. So,
I don't think we answered the discussion topic.
I don't think that we did at all. But I think that we got some kind of.
I think we talked.
We talked. And if you have any kind of insights into how, like, the indie game market is moving and any opinions on that kind of thing, just shout at us at Facebook and Twitter.
Facebook.com/AmberGlassBroadcasting as well.
We will put a personal email.
Oh yes, okay. Facebook.com, get a pen. Facebook.com. That's Facebook.com/.
After listening to this should be on the internet.
Facebook.com/AmberGlassBroadcasting. You can follow us on Twitter. Twitter.com/AmberGlassBroadcasting.
Nope. It is
hashtag.
It is
Slamagash.
Shut up, Max.
Slamagash.
It is at AG Broadcasting.
Okay, AG Broadcasting.
Hashtag.
You can
Andrew's a dick.
watch us on YouTube, which is youtube.com/AmberGlassBroadcasting.
Yes, it is.
Yeah. And then you can also
all the links are on Facebook.
All the links are on Facebook. So Max's little thing is
broadcasting.
No,
everything will be up in the description. So if you missed any of Max's rants, which not many people listen to, so then you'll definitely have some way of contacting us.
And if you want to get involved with sort of the production of our podcast, because we're obviously starting up, and we would appreciate as much help as we could get. Any sort of artwork or gaming related content that you've got that you want to share with us, just send it our way.
Yeah, any way, email us.
Yeah.
And then finally, because we already have someone helping us out. Got a big shout out to Vanity Graphics. You can go and like their Facebook page at facebook.com/vanitygraphics.
I'm hoping. I'm hoping that's
I
it.
believe
Again,
that, yeah.
again,
Yeah.
we will link it in
Yeah.
if you've seen any of our
He does
fantastic
this
posters.
Sean
and-
Ross, he's on our course, and he did the posters you'll be able to see on our Twitter
Yeah.
and Facebook and all that kind of stuff. He also does other posters, gig advertisements, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
He has a strange hairdo.
Yeah,
It's all good
Yeah.
stuff.
it's not strange. You're just jealous of Sean's
Yeah.
I
hair.
am just jealous of Sean's hair. It's
I'm
very
sticking
nice
up for you,
hair.
Sean. Sticking up for you.
Very
Make
nice
us
hair.
more nice posters.
Yeah.
So yeah, big shout out to him, and
And also
Yeah.
Neil. Big shout out to Neil.
Yeah.
big shout out to Neil,
My
who
Waking up today.
unfortunately couldn't be with us today. But yeah, so we'll be back next
Yeah,
week.
Big shout out to the man who allowed us to get microphones. Who's that? What's his
Yeah.
name?
You'll be able to hear it if it wasn't for me.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
no,
true.
No,
That's
not
true.
you. I'm talking about the guy.
Oh, yeah.
Microphones.
Big-
Shout out to
Nathan. I
Something.
just want to say Nathan Fillion.
Okay,
Big shout out to
big shout
Nathan-
Nathan Drake.
Yeah,
Nathan Drake for getting us the microphones that we needed.
From
Thanks, Nathan.
the Golden Abyss.
Yeah, thank you, Nathan. But yeah,
From the
we'll
library.
we'll be back next week, and
Yeah.
we'll have more interesting topics.
More shite to fill your ears with.
Yeah, definitely.
I think that should be a tagline.
Yes. Screw.
Don't
screw
think what the
preserving
animation would be like.
interesting games. Yeah. That's not.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's another thing. We should totally have animations. I'll draw the animations. There'll be stick figures. There'll be lines. Oh, it'll be awesome.
Yeah.
One
Except
over
you won't be a stick figure.
I'll be a circle.
Yeah. You'll be
I
a
will
circle
break
with
the
arms.
Thomas was alone barrier, and I will be a circle.
Damn right.
But yeah, so yeah, we'll see you next week.
Well, we'll
Bye.
see you.